The BCM 300 BlackOut pistol, let's check it out. While 5.56 or 223 has been used by the U.S. military and other countries around the world for decades, there's always been a lack, especially with Special Forces units in close quarter and something that can really produce a punch and yet feed in an AR-15 platform. Also that can be easily suppressed with subsonic ammunition. And it's one of the reasons why the 300 BlackOut was developed. This was actually approved for SAMI specs in 2011, but it comes from the 300 Whisper. And it is a great round, a lot of capability, and we're going to take a look at this in a 9-inch barreled pistol from BCM. BCM makes really top quality AR-15s. In fact, they are my go-to rifle. And so I thought this was a perfect match. I've been wanting to get a nice pistol, and in the 300 BlackOut, and the BCM was a perfect candidate. One of the big reasons why 300 BlackOut is so popular is because all that is required to transform your AR-15 in 5.56 to 300 BlackOut is the barrel and, of course, the muzzle brake. Other than that, everything is the same: magazines, buffer tubes, everything. That really makes this very appealing if you're looking for a different type caliber than just the 5.56. You know, 5.56 versus 7.62 by 3.9, the AR versus AK, controversy has been going on for decades. And this is one of the things that can kind of fit that niche, because the 300 BlackOut performs actually better than the 7.62 by 3.9. And in an AR-15, it's much more reliable. One of the problems is the tapered case in the 7.62 by 3.9 that causes reliability issues. Plus, you have to have different type magazines. One of the big advantages of 300 BlackOut is that it fits in your standard AR-15 magazine. Even a lot of the different calibers like 6.5 Grendel or 6.8 SPC have to have different type magazines. It's one of the big advantages of the 300 BlackOut. So first thing we're going to do is make sure the gun's unloaded. Drop the magazine, check the chamber, and the gun's empty. Now a lot of guys are going to wonder, why would you go with the 300 BlackOut when you have 223 or 5.56 that's so plentiful? If I'm going to get my first AR, it's going to be 5.56, down, just hands down. And so if you're looking for a good AR, whether a rifle or a pistol, I would go with the 5.56 first. Now 5.56 and 300 BlackOut, where there's a lot of similarities, especially just because it's an AR-15 platform, there are a lot of differences. They're two separate calibers, one not necessarily competing with the other. And it's one of the reasons why the 300 BlackOut was developed. It was really developed to kind of bridge that gap between 7.62 by 3.9 and 5.56, the AK AR type realm. And you do it in a AR platform. And that's really what this gun, to me, really does well. As far as your knockdown power, you're going to have better ballistics up close, but out to distance, your 5.56 is going to be better. I mean, it's just the way it is. The bullet weights on the 5.56 start out at about 55 grains, all the way up to 75 grain. When you go with the BlackOut, you're starting out at about 110 grain, and you're moving on up to 220 plus. So there's a lot of capability as far as the size of the round. Now, one of the first things I want to address is the barrel. It is a 9-inch barrel. It is what they call enhanced profile barrel, and you can't really see inside, but these are fluted. What fluting does, it increases the strength of the barrel. Really, barrel length is important, but the rigidity of the barrel is also extremely important, and fluting helps with the rigidity. A stiff barrel will shoot better than a barrel that flexes a whole lot. Now, these barrels are 4150 CMV steel. That's chrome moly vanadium. One thing that BCM does is use higher concentrations of carbon and vanadium to make the barrel so much stronger. These are independently certified to be mil spec as far as the components or the material. These are HPT, which is high pressure, or MPI, which is magnetic particle inspected, to make sure there's no cracks or any kind of problems or flaws in the barrel. These are rated up to 70,000 PSI. Now, this does have the pistol gas system in it, so it's a short system, which helps for the pistol with this barrel length to be more reliable. The barrels are chrome lined, and so is the barrel extension of the chamber, which is actually a little bit harder than steel, and it increased velocity, it resists fouling and corrosion. And one of the great things about BCM or Bravo Company Manufacturing is you can go to the website and see all the specs. They go through a lot of detail in what they do, and to me that is one of the big things about BCM that I love. Now, right up front we have one of the Gunfighter Mod 1 compensators. It looks very similar to the birdcage, but with the ports and the jets, it really makes a difference at the range. And when you have a small pistol with this short barrel, that really comes in handy. It has more compensating properties than it does flash hiding capability, and it can be a little loud. But this is really one of my favorite brakes because it's not very big, it's not obtrusive, and yet it's very effective. And then we have the KMR handguard. This is the Alpha Rail, which is an aluminum alloy. They do make their standard KMR, which is a magnesium, and it's a little bit not as durable as the aluminum, but it's super light. And even this, the KMR in the Alpha, is very light, very thin right here. And of course, one of the beautiful things about it is that the key mod is not only at the 3, 6, and 9 o'clock, but it's also offset. So all of your other angles have the key mod features. So it allows you to put lights and other things in places that suit the individual shooter. And as you can see, the top of the rail is T-marked. The upper and lower receiver are 7075 T6 aluminum. They have the mil-spec hard anodized finish. It's a very black color. Some of the light is going to make it look a little less black, but it is. It's very black. The BCM, they're very proud to put their logo on the rifle, and having 300 BlackOut right here to me is really important, not to get confused with your 5.56 into your 300 or 300 into your 5.56. That can be catastrophic for the rifle. So if you're going to have a 300 BlackOut and you have 5.56 rifles, you need to definitely be very careful when taking those out. Of course, you have your dust cover, your flash hider, and you have your shell deflector. But to be honest with you, I've not used the forward assist that much, but I have used it twice. And that's all it takes for me to need it. If I need it twice, I need it. The 1913 Picatinny rail on the upper receiver is T-marked. Of course, we have one of the SIG Romeo 4M's red dots. This is an excellent red dot. Then we have your Gunfighter charging handle. Very beefy right here, but not too obtrusive. It does come in a small, medium, and large. And you can bring this back. It has the BCM logo right here. I love these charging handles. In fact, I have quite a few. And these are just really solidly built. Included is the Mod 3 pistol grip. This grip angle is a little more vertical than your standard, and that's really best for your pistol. There is a compartment underneath, and you have a little trap door that's very solid. It's rubberized, it's going to seal, and it's going to stay closed. So you can keep valuables in here, whether it's an extra parts kit, a bolt, or even batteries. They also include one of the Gunfighter trigger guards, which has a little bit more area that comes down, which is better for gloved hands. Then here, as we remove the magazine, this has been relieved out, so it gives you a really wide mag well, and that helps for mag changes. We're going to take a peek in the inside, which is more important than the outside. Now, included is one of the PTN triggers. This is their enhanced trigger from BCM. It has an electro-nickelous finish on it, which actually adds to the lubricity. The nickel itself is harder than steel. Now, this has 3 heat treating processes that go into it. I've done a full review on this trigger system in itself. Guys, a lot of times you get aftermarket triggers, they can be a little finicky. But this is a mil-spec trigger. It has been micro-polished with the sear and hammer engagements, but the trigger pull itself is not lighter, it's just very crisp. There's not any creep at all to this trigger. And so it's really a very good system. In fact, I think they run about $59, and I've put a couple in some of my rifles, especially the ones I depend on, my go-to rifle. And I think that's a great investment considering what a lot of these triggers are costing that may have a lighter trigger pull, but they're not, I mean, this is just as crisp as any of them. But the electroless nickel has also been Teflon impregnated. So again, it gives it, it's easy to clean, and it's very smooth and slick, and it will last a long time. The lower is what they call the RDIAS, which is a registered drop-in auto sear compatibility. If you have a registered drop-in auto sear, it will work in BCM lowers. It comes with the H1 buffer. BCM recommends that you go with the H3 if you're going to be shooting subsonic. The castle nut has been properly staked. This keeps the buffer tube and the lower receiver stable. A lot of companies now are not doing that because a lot of people are changing things out, but this is the proper way to do it. It does come with the gunfighter end plate. We have a QD point right here to be able to pop your sling on there. It does have one of the standard M16 bolt carrier groups, which has the solid lug at the back. The bolt's been MPI HPT tested, shot peened, which means it's bombarded with shot. And these are not done by batch. Every one of these are done. And so this is a very excellent bolt system. I always say that the barrel and the bolt are the heart of your rifle, and those are the two things you need to really pay attention to. You have your grade 8 fasteners, which have been properly staked. The gas key has been chrome lined, and so has the interior of the bolt carrier. And the extractor is tool steel. And we see the M4 feed ramps and the cuts right here in the receiver, which help with reliability. It does come with a pistol buffer tube. This is one of the Gearhead Works tail hooks, and I'm working on a review for that, but I did most of the shooting sequence with the Shockwave Technologies blade. I really like this tail hook, and we'll be talking about it coming up. Here we have 223 or 5.56. This is a 62 grain bullet. We have the 300 BlackOut. This is 147 grain. Again, there are a lot of different ranges. And then we have the 7.62 by 3.9. This is 123 grain. One of the things about these three rounds is typically if you're going to shoot steel cased ammunition, the 7.62 by 3.9 is really cheap to shoot. You can get steel cased in the 223, but typically I don't shoot steel cased in my ARs. And there's a big debate about that, but I just don't do it. And then we have the 300 BlackOut. That's definitely going to be the most expensive. In fact, we're looking at about 53 cents per round, which we're going about 25, starting out at basic prices, 25 to 30 cents per round. So it's about double the price for your 300 BlackOut. One of the things you can do though is resize your brass, and it's not really that difficult. There's a ton of different videos on YouTube if you do a lot of reloading. And then you can reload your brass for a lot cheaper. With the 7.62, and one of the reasons why this is not optimal in an AR-15 is because the case is tapered. And the way it tapers, it just can cause a lot of issues. Whereas your 300 BlackOut is straight. So you're able to deal with the pressures and the direct impingement system. And while I'm not going to get into all the different facts, that's just part of why the 300 BlackOut was sought more than the 7.62 by 3.9. Plus, you can use standard AR-15 magazines or M16 magazines for your 300 BlackOut. Of course, the velocities on the 5.56 223 are considerably higher compared to the 300 BlackOut, but your bullet weight is considerably larger. So there's a lot of trade-offs there. One of the things we're going to do, because shooting this out of a pistol barrel, there was not a lot of data, and I did not take my chronograph. So I need to go ahead and do a review using these two calibers in the pistol and in a 16-inch rifle, and kind of get some data together to help you guys try to decide and how these are very effective. Now, one of the big questions is why even bother with 300 BlackOut? One of the big things is you've got a 30 caliber bullet, so you've got a heavier grain bullet. It's moving a little slower than your 5.56 or your 223, but it's going to give you more power out when you're hunting. With the 300 BlackOut, you can hunt with the same exact rifle configuration you do with your 5.56, and yet you've got your 30 caliber. Yes, you can go with 308, but you're going to have a bigger rifle. It's going to be bigger, heavier. You're going to get better distance for sure. In fact, that's one of the things about the 300 BlackOut is that it lacks in long-range distance. This gun really specifically was designed to be able to use as a suppressed gun for close quarter, or for, you know, standard 300 yard and less engagements. So you're going to have a very effective round, really very similar to the 7.62 by 3.9. So this gives you a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of ammo ranges. When you're shooting subsonic, your range is really going to drop off quite a bit. And in fact, there's a number of videos out there where guys are shooting these distances, and you can see the bullet drop considerably, even out to 100 yards. Okay, this is obviously a pistol. It's a 9-inch barrel. This is not made to get way out to distance, regardless of the 300 BlackOut caliber. But for me, this rifle is going to be relegated for an home defense gun. It's compact, it's got a good punch up close, and you know, it's 30 caliber, and it uses all the same components as the AR-15. The only difference is your barrel. So it's a real simple way to have a separate caliber that you can switch uppers on and off pretty easily. Now, as far as at the range, the gun performed flawlessly, which I've never had any issues out of any BCM rifles or like this pistol, whether it's 300 BlackOut or 5.56. The KMR handguard, super light, super thin, and that really translates at the range. Being able to get a good grip on it, not feeling like it's thick. Has the key mod slots, and they are ample, not only in the 3, 6, and 9 o'clock positions, but also in the alternate angles as well. Of course, Picatinny rail going out, and this is T-marked. With the Mod 1 muzzle brake, it looks very similar to your A2 birdcage, but it is very effective at taming felt recoil. I remember the first time I ever fired one, it just really shocked me because I was expecting to get a little bit more of that pushback and that muzzle rise, but the BCM Mod 0 and Mod 1 are just really great, and especially on a pistol, because if you're not careful, you can get the charging handle in your nose, and this really tames the recoil. Now, with the new change in the ATF regulations, you know, where putting this on your shoulder occasionally does not change the fact that this is still a pistol. Obviously, that's become very popular with most of us, you know, that like the pistol form. But one of the things about it is it's a lot shorter for sure, and if you are going to put it on your shoulder, you know, you're going to get a little bit closer in there. And I think that's one of the reasons why the muzzle brake or the compensator is so important to have on your pistol. Now, for me, when I did most of this video at the range, it was before the ruling had come out, and so I chose not to put it to my shoulder. And guys, just to be honest, because I have such a high profile YouTube channel, I doubt that I'll be doing much shooting with this against my shoulder, just to be prudent. But the ATF has definitely come out and kind of relaxed some of the thoughts on that. But again, the ATF is not always clear. I mean, as far as you guys go, you know, let your conscience be your guide. But, you know, this does make a very short, little, small package. Now, for accuracy in the pistol form, it's not going to be quite as stable as it would be with a rifle. One of the things that I did is just place my hand back here when I was shooting it from the shoulder, just to keep it from touching my shoulder. But again, this was before the new ATF ruling. Really, if you're going to try to get good accuracy, putting this on your shoulder is pretty much a must. But I was using one of the Foam Action Sports rifle rest. Those things work just great, and I was able to get some pretty decent accuracy out of a 9.5-inch barrel. Of course, I want to thank Freedom Munitions for supplying the 300 BlackOut, and they do carry 300 BlackOut, which is nice. This is one 47 grain full metal jacket, 50 round boxes. You get a 5% discount using Such00 when you check out, and it's nice for them to offer that for Such viewers. We were using one of the Romeo 4Ms from SIG. This has been a really good red dot. You know, you've got your dual illumination. You can do either a single dot or you can do the dot with the circle around it, which really draws the eye and makes this really easy to get on target very quickly. And so I have one of the American Defense Manufacturing QD mounts. This is a great little sight to me for this rifle. It fits, and it's just such a small package anyway, and this is such a small sight. These are available at Optics Planet. I did a review on this a few weeks ago. Optics Planet does give a 5% discount using Such00 when you check out on anything on their site, which makes it pretty cool. During most of the evaluation, we were using one of the Shockwave Technologies blades. That's a great option for your AR-15 pistol. It really is light, handy, and in fact, I've done a full review on it. Here you're seeing with the Gearhead Works tail hook. and this is a great addition. It's all aluminum. It gives it a very solid feel to it, and review is coming up very quick, like a freight train. And I do want to thank shootsteel.com for providing the steel, and again, as I always say, thanks to shootsteel.com for providing the music. Shooting steel is the way to go, guys. Manufacturer suggested retail price on the 300 BlackOut rifle 9-inch barrel is $1,399. Yes, you can get ARs right now for around the $600 range, but you're going to get a commercial grade AR-15 without the quality that BCM stands behind. BCM is my go-to rifle. And guys, as I always like to say, don't just take my word for it. Look around. There are a lot of different reviews on BCM products. You'll find that BCM is top quality. BCM, Boss Carbine Manufacturing, baby. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. You know, really, but I've got a number of the KMR handguards. It does come with one of the H1 buffers. It comes with an H1 buffer. It comes with the H1 buffer. It does come with the Infighter. It does come with the with the Mod 1, but we are coming up with, okay,